I found my credit card maxed out. $30,000 missing before my birthday. My father snapped. The family needed it more. My mother laughed. You can celebrate alone. We had better plans, I replied calmly. Then don't ever call me again. That night I quietly canceled the mortgage, the truck, and her loan in silence. My name is Gregory Simmons. I am 58 years old. I stared at my credit card statement, hands trembling slightly. $29,763, almost $30,000, gone, vanished, stolen. My birthday was next week. I had planned a few days off, maybe a trip somewhere warm. I hadn't had a real vacation in years. Now my entire savings cushion was obliterated overnight. I called the bank, hoping it was fraud, some hacker. The charges had been authorized by me according to the signatures and PIN. Except I hadn't bought anything. Only 2 people had access to my information. My parents. I called my father. He answered casual. Hey son, everything okay? My credit card is maxed out, Dad, almost $30,000. Do you know anything about that? A heavy pause then. Well, the family needed it more. You'll be fine. You make good money. You used my credit card, I said. It's not like that, he snapped. You always act like your money is just yours. We're family. Sometimes sacrifices have to be made. Before I could respond, I heard my mother laughing in the background. And honestly, you don't need a fancy birthday trip. We had better plans for that money. You can celebrate alone this year. My breath came in short bursts. I had worked 2 jobs through college, saved religiously, skipped vacations and new clothes. And now this. I forced my voice calm. Then don't ever call me again. I ended the call. That night I sat at my laptop and opened every account they never thought I'd touch. The joint mortgage I'd co-signed, canceled. The truck loan I co-guaranteed for my father, terminated. My mother's personal line of credit tied to my name, erased. Cold. Calculated clicks. No fights. No explanations. It wasn't revenge. It was finally drawing a line I should have drawn years ago. You probably wonder how a grown man with a stable career ended up milked dry by his own family. It didn't happen overnight, that's the sick part. They were patient, strategic. From the moment I landed my first real job, my parents saw it as their victory. We sacrificed everything for you, my father reminded me constantly. You owe us. Without us, you wouldn't even have that degree, my mother would add. At first it was small, a few hundred for house taxes, a few thousand for my sister's dental surgery, co-signing my father's new truck after his old one broke down, covering my mother's maxed-out card, just temporarily. I told myself it was fine. They raised me. It's what good sons do. But temporary became permanent. My father expected me to cover their mortgage shortfalls. My mother stopped pretending she'd pay me back. My sister Brooke, the golden child, quit her job to find herself, while I quietly picked up her student loan payments. You make 6 figures, my mother once said, waving her hand. We're not asking for much. 6 figures, yes, but after taxes, rent, and their endless emergencies, my account looked like it belonged to a fast food cashier. I watched friends buy homes, invest, travel. I stayed in my cramped apartment, eating takeout, pretending I was building a future while draining myself for theirs. 2 years ago, my father lost his job after being caught taking money from his company, something I learned only after I'd already loaned him nearly $40,000. It's just temporary, son, he promised. Once I'm back on my feet, I'll pay you back in full. He never got back on his feet. Instead, he and my mother doubled down. My credit card became their emergency fund. They started using my name on loan, applications without telling me, forging signatures, whispering to bank managers, our son will cover it if anything goes wrong. And Brooke played her role perfectly. New phones, spa retreats, yoga training programs, all charged to my accounts. I'll pay you back when my career takes off, just be patient. Every time I tried to set a boundary, guilt and shame came out swinging. Do you want your father to lose the house? How can you be so selfish when your sister's mental health depends on this? Money has made you cold. The breaking point came last month. I said no when my mother asked me to cover a $15,000 business loan for Brooke's boyfriend. My father exploded across the dinner table. You're ruining this family. What kind of son are you? My mother cried on cue. Brooke stormed upstairs, slamming doors. She's 26. I sat there, stone-faced, not a word. That night, after they went to bed, I checked my account and saw the $30,000 charge sitting there. They hadn't even asked. They just helped themselves. The morning after I canceled everything, my phone started vibrating nonstop. 27 missed calls, 15 voicemails, hundreds of texts. By noon, they were waiting outside my building like a pack of wolves. My father's face was purple. My mother's cheek streaked with tears. Brooke stood with her arms crossed. What did you do? My father bellowed. You destroyed us, you selfish fool. I protected myself, I said coldly. Something none of you ever bothered to do for me. The bank called this morning, he shouted. The mortgage is frozen, the truck's been repossessed, your mother's cards are locked. What gives you the right? The right, I said. You stole from me, forged my name on loans, maxed out my cards. I spent years covering your mistakes, now deal with the consequences. We're family, my mother shrieked. How can you do this to your own parents? Family doesn't steal, I snapped. Family doesn't lie. Family doesn't use me like an ATM. Brooke jumped in, dripping condescension. Oh, please, you're being so dramatic. You make good money. We just needed a little help. $30,000 isn't a little help, I roared. You drained my savings, destroyed my credit, took my future, and handed it to yourselves like I owed you my entire life. My father stepped closer, his voice dropping low. You think? You're too good for your family. You're nothing without us. You'll regret this. The only thing I regret is not cutting you off sooner, I said calmly. You owe us. We gave you life, he said. And you spent it like it was your bank account. I shot back. I worked 2 jobs through college while Brooke took spa trips. I lived in a shoebox while you bought your 3rd truck. Every time I got ahead, you pulled me back down. My mother fell to her knees on the concrete, sobbing loudly. Please, if you walk away, we'll lose everything. The house, Dad's health. Brooke will be homeless. Then maybe Brooke should get a job, I said bluntly. Maybe Dad should stop living beyond his means. Maybe you should finally take responsibility. You heartless monster, Brooke screamed. You're your family, we need you. No, you don't need me, I said, looking at them, really looking for the first time. You need my money, my credit, someone to clean up after your failures. You never needed me. You never even saw me as a person, only as a wallet. My father lunged forward. We made you. No, I said softly. You broke me, but I finally put myself back together. Without you. Don't ever call me again. Don't knock on my door. Don't text me. Don't pretend we're family. Because as far as I'm concerned, you never were. The silence after those words was deafening. I turned, walked past them, and entered my building. That night, for the first time in years, I slept without nightmares. I thought the worst had already happened. I was wrong. That was just the beginning. Once I cut them off financially, everything collapsed. Within 4 days, the mortgage was frozen. Full default triggered. By the end of the week, a foreclosure notice arrived. The house scheduled for auction in less than 60 days. I didn't have to lift a finger. The system took care of it. The truck my father adored disappeared at dawn one morning. He raged barefoot in his bathrobe on the driveway. You can't take my truck. But there was nothing left to save him. By week 2, my mother's calls shifted from rage to hysteria. We're going to lose everything. Your father's blood pressure is through the roof. Your sister has nowhere to go. What kind of son lets this happen? I deleted the messages without listening past the first sentence. Then Brooke showed up, thinner, paler, the smug entitlement gone, only desperation left. Please. She begged at my door. You can't just abandon us. I looked at her for several long seconds and felt absolutely nothing. No pity, no guilt. I'm done, Brooke. Go home if you still have one. You're my brother, she whispered. No, I said. I was your bank, and I'm closed. By the end of the month, their perfect world was gone. They moved into a cheap 2-bedroom apartment across town. The eviction was public, the neighbors whispered, the friends vanished. My father slumped through part-time handyman work to cover rent. His health spiraled without medications he could no longer afford. My mother posted old photos online pretending everything was fine, but the debt collectors never stopped calling. Brooke's carefully curated life imploded completely. She bounced from couch to couch, freeloading off friendships that eroded the second she couldn't cover brunch. They thought I was weak because I kept giving. The truth is I was strong enough to finally stop. And once I did, they collapsed under the weight of their own entitlement. Meanwhile, my life finally began. I bought my own place. Modest, but beautiful. Fully paid. Fully mine. I traveled for the first time. Real travel, Iceland, Italy, Japan, standing beneath the northern lights, breathing air that no longer carried the smell of guilt. Therapy became my anchor, unpacking years of manipulation and financial servitude. My therapist once told me, "You never had parents. You had leeches dressed as parents." And it was true. I sit on my balcony every night now. My own place, my own money, my own choices. No more calls, no more screaming, no more manipulation, just peace. I no longer feel anger that burned out long ago. What's left is clarity. For years I was raised to believe my worth was tied to how much I could sacrifice for others. That was never love. It was business. A one-way transaction where I paid and they took. They built their kingdom on my back, and when I finally stood up, their kingdom collapsed. If you ask me today what I regret, I'll tell you the same thing every time. Not because I wanted to hurt them, but because I had to choose myself for once. I regret not walking away sooner, because the moment I chose myself, I won.